The new tourist season swings into gear as the first flight of Dutch tourists numbering 154 arrives in Banjul. North Korea makes its latest outlandish threat to attack the United States with nuclear weapons. Amid that has Washington on alert. And the war of words between Croatia and Hungary over the migrant crisis intensifies after authorities in Zagreb released trains carrying migrants to cross the border into Hungary. Well, these and other stories coming ahead this half hour. I am WINIFRED NICOL. Thanks for joining us once again. The stream of enthusiastic volunteers determined to help in the weeding of the president's farms continue to arrive in Kanilai, with the latest including the Tabital Pulagi, an association of Fula community in the Gambia, and President Jammeh's Islamic University. Hundreds of volunteers spread across the various farms in Kanilai to help in the weeding. We have details in this report by Momodou Jallo.
They came from across the 7 regions of the country in response to the calls of their leaders for a weekend of reading in Kanilai. These volunteers belong to the Tabital Pulago, a national association of the Fula people in the Gambia. The association is led by the governor of the Upper River region, Alhaji Omar Sampo Sise, who explained that the association was founded by like-minded elders keen to mobilize the Fula people to take a more proactive role in national activities promoted and spearheaded by the President, His Excellency Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya Jammeh Babili Mansa.
His Excellencies have created an open venue for people to come together, unite, work in the interest of the Gambia. So this is why the elders of this association from Koinan to Khartoum decided to come together, form this chapter to unite, foster cooperation, and support all government initiative projects or programs. Yes, and it was very easy for us. When they met, the entire elders of the area decided, being a young amongst them, what they want me to lead and share experience with them.
The drive to attain national food independence remains a strong pillar of President Jammeh's government, which is promoting the Vision 2016 initiative. This endeavor has drawn strong and passionate support from Gambians, not least the Tabital Pulago Association, which believes the Fula people have an even greater stake, as many among this large community are farmers and pastoralists. Therefore, Mamadou Kande, head of the Combo branch, is adamant that their membership would spare no effort in ensuring that this important national goal is attained. These views were equally shared by Ajam Mahani Jallo and Aja Aissatou Sumare, leaders of the women's wing. The impressive turnout of the women, according to the two, is a clear manifestation of the critical role women play in household and national food security. They urge all women to embrace the President's pronouncements with even greater commitment, as they are the main beneficiaries. Elsewhere, a group of women were also at hand to help in the planting of maize and sesame. The newly plowed field, sandwiched between the vast Findi farms, is earmarked for sesame and maize cultivation. These women are determined to finish the broadcasting of the crops. Speaking to GRTS, Binta Jammeh praised the President for his support to Gambian women and said this is what motivated them to return him in kind with their voluntary labor. She assured that they will always remain true to the Gambian leader by supporting all his farming activities anywhere in the country. Momodou Jallo, GRTS News.
Highlights of that program shall air later. The Office of the President has issued a press release informing the general public that, in accordance with executive directives, the Office of the President will on Sunday 20th and Monday 21st September 2015 conduct the distribution of dates donated to the Gambia by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. In this regard, the following heads of institutions shown on the approved list of beneficiaries below are hereby informed that the distribution exercise will start at 9 a.m. on Sunday, 20th September 2015 at State House, and are requested to collect their shares meant for beneficiaries under their institution's purview. It is further noted that, as per the distribution arrangements, those collecting are reminded that they shall be solely responsible for transporting their share from State House to their desired destinations. The approved distribution list for the donated consignment of dates by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia reads as follows. Governors of URR, CRR, NBR, LRR, West Coast Region, the Lord Mayors of KMC and BCC, all permanent secretaries representing their various ministries are to collect their shares on Monday, 24 September at 9 a.m. at State House. The remaining beneficiaries, including institutions, are expected to collect their share tomorrow, Sunday, 20th September 2015 at 9 a.m. at the State House. And they are President, Supreme Islamic Council, Director of SOS Village, Speaker of the National Assembly, Director, Social Welfare Department for the Disabled, Director of NYSS, Auditor General NAO, Chairman IEC, Principal RDI, President Dock Workers Association, Chairperson Distribution Committee, Ombudsman, Imam State House Mosques, Director General National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, CEO Suleiman Junkun Jame Hospital, CEO Serekunda Hospital, Principal Armitage, CEO Farafenya Hospital, CEO Bansang Hospital, Chief Medical Director Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, Tanka Tanka, Executive Director Nana, Director Women's Bureau, Statistician General GBOS, Director General Gambia Civil Aviation Authority, Managing Director Gambia Ports Authority, Managing Director GAMTEL, Managing Director GAMPOST, Permanent Secretary PMO, Chairman PSC, Managing Director Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation, Managing Director GAMCEL, Vice Chancellor University of the Gambia, Director General GTTI, Director General MDI, Principal Gambia College, Bishop Christian Council, and President Islamic Boarding Schools, Amana. All those collecting are reminded that they shall be solely responsible for transporting their share from State House to their desired destinations. Scores of youths have completed a week-long leadership training meant to build their capacities and help them build friendship and engage in activities outside of the school curriculum. The outdoor event was organized by the Youth Empowerment through Education and Sports Foundation in partnership with the U.S. Embassy. Aissatou Jatta reports.
Every year, 85 competitive college club students from across the country meet for a week-long leadership seminar funded by the U.S. Embassy. The event with the theme, Education is Key, provided an opportunity for students to engage in a wider range of activities, including creative writing, performing arts, science and technology projects, public health training, plus other field trips. Papanjai, founding director of Youth Empowerment through Education and Sport and Global Education Center, said their investment in education sector is warranted by the fact that education is key to success.
To us, the key to success, the key to development, the key to national development is through education. And these students here today, you see, most of them are like the best students in the country, and we brought them together, almost 100 of them. And education is key, so we know that we have to invest in the kids, and hopefully they will come back and will be able to develop the Gambia.
Lamin Rena Lua, volunteer Global Education Center, spoke of their role in helping students with scholarships as he highlighted some of their achievements.
GEC helps students in applying for schools and colleges abroad, no matter where your destination is. We also help students in obtaining scholarships, as well as we help them prepare for the exams that they need, like the SAT, TOEFL, GRE, GMAT.
Peace Corps volunteer Kristen Brody saluted the participants being part of this exercise. This seminar, as noted by the students, has what it takes in ensuring bonding between them, something that can foster mutual understanding and healthy relationships.
This conference aims at creating a comprehensive forum and giving opportunity to students to create comprehensive system among ourselves, which results in the interactions of team building. It all started on the 4th of September this month, when students from all over the country converged at the Babo Hotel to grace this year's annual CCC conference.
Sehmoudi Job, a teacher from Farafenye Senior Secondary School, shared his experience with GRTS.
I can say I've experienced a lot here because as you can see the gathering here, we have almost the cream of the nation. If you look at the caliber of students that we have here, I can say we learn a lot from them, ranging from academics and social. Definitely it's a very nice experience.
This year's seminar marks 5 years since the inception of competitive college club in the Gambia. Aissatou Diatta, GRTS.
The first batch of tourists from the Netherlands have arrived in the country as the new tourism season gets underway. The Dutch holiday makers, numbering 154, came aboard a flight named Corendon. The winter tourists were welcomed upon arrival by officials in the tourism sector and were also given a taste of the Gambia's rich cultural heritage by cultural groups. Modu Bajan reports.
The first flight of the 2015-2016 tourist season landed at Banjul International Airport Friday evening. From the Netherlands, the 154 tourists were welcomed and accompanied to their hotel by officials of the Ministry of Tourism and Culture. The Director General of Gambia Tourism Board, in an interview with GRTS, said they have started the season 1 month ahead and it will close 1 month earlier. Abdullah Haidara added that this early arrival of tourists is important for a variety of reasons.
Corendon has just landed with Boeing 800 series with 154 first tourist arrival for this year. This is very significant and it has given us the opportunity, as we had all prayed and yearned for, after years of hard work, after years of joint marketing campaign, after years of struggle to bring the Gambian tourism into an 8-year session.
Also on the ground for this year's first tourist arrival was the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Tourism and Culture. Kodu Jabang also directed on this first flight carrying tourists landing in the country.
We're optimistic. It's going to be a great season ahead, given the fact, as I've already said, quite a lot of challenges were encountered last year. A lot of flight cancellations due to the Ebola epidemic that had hit the West African sub-region for that matter. So we had obviously flight cancellations as well as very low hotel occupancies, etc. But as I've said, the outlook is positive. We're optimistic and we're looking forward to a very, very great tourist season. That's the 2015-2016 season.
Tara Veron and Annalise Wright among the arrivals all expressed their happiness for coming to the Smiling Coast.
I'm a photographer, I'm a journalist, and I'm working as a journalist who discovers nice places to see, explore, and cultural, also for tourism. And I'm doing that already for 25 years. I did a lot of work and articles, and I felt like going to Gambia. Must be nice to come here.
The commercial director at the Gambia International Airlines said they are looking forward to a very fruitful tourist season, noting that the number of incoming flights is encouraging.
We are looking forward to a very, very fruitful tourism season. The first one started today, and that henceforth, more flights, will be landing at Banjul International Airport. And Gambia International Airlines is the ground handling, agent at Banjul International Airport. We are the first point of call. Immediately tourists arrived in Banjul, the first service that they receive comes from Gambia International Airlines. It is a general belief that first impressions are lasting impressions. So being the first point of contact, we will make sure that our service is always executed, provided at international level, at international standard.
As emphasized by officials of the sector, this year's early arrival by Corendon is perhaps a clear testimony of a well-cherished upcoming tourist season with numerous socio-economic benefits to be tapped into. Muru Bayan reporting for GRTS News.
UNAIDS office, in collaboration with United Nations Development Programme, as well as the National AIDS Secretariat and Action Aid International de Gambia, recently organized a sensitization workshop for security officers. Participants discussed various issues, including the newly enacted HIV and AIDS Prevention and Control Act 2015. Asatu Jata reports.
UNAIDS, in collaboration with United Nations Development Programme, National AIDS Secretariat, and Action Aid the Gambia, recently conducted a sensitization seminar on the newly enacted HIV/AIDS Prevention and Control Act for security officers. The aim is to inculcate better understanding with the security personnel on the new act to help them execute their duties when they are faced with cases like HIV/AIDS virus. The Deputy Director, National AIDS Secretariat, in giving a brief history about the forum, said a lot of gains have been registered in the fight against HIV/AIDS, adding that in addressing the threat of epidemics, there still needs public sensitization as well as providing an enabling legal environment on the content of HIV/AIDS Prevention and Control Act.
According to the 2013 DHS program, HIV national adult prevalence among 15 to 49 in the Gambia is 1.9%. Although the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia recognizes and guarantees human rights and gender equality, evidence has shown that HIV face human rights abuses such as enacted stigma, 67% high, so 2009, employment discrimination, and housing discrimination. Similarly, 25% of peers avoid nearby hospitals and clinics, going to distant places to seek care. To address the above bottlenecks around HIV and AIDS in Gambia, there is first need to ensure an enabling legal environment.
The UNAIDS Country Director outlines the United Nations commitment in testifying efforts to strengthen and enforce appropriate legislation and regulations to promote and protect human rights, which includes developing programs.
This model law provided the basis for the development of appropriate HIV/AIDS laws in many African countries, including the Gambia. In the Gambia, in 2009, UNAIDS and UNDP, in partnership with the National AIDS Secretariat, the National Assembly, started the process of adopting the model law.
Lack of enabling legal framework has been a major impediment in the national response, she added. But the UN Country Director is optimistic that the progressive law, which was being enacted, will contribute to the fight against HIV/AIDS in the Gambia.
This exercise is a joint initiative between National AIDS Secretariat, UNAIDS, UNDP, and Action Aid. This forum is part of a series of sensitization campaigns that have been launched and will be continued with various stakeholders, including law enforcement agents in all the regions.
Commissioner Alaji Kinte of the Gambia Police Force represented the Inspector General of Police at the event.
The police or the security forces are very vital in the implementation of laws. We don't make laws, but when it comes to implementation, everybody focuses on us. And as far as HIV/AIDS is concerned, it has been a sensitive issue, and it is still a sensitive issue. So it is an issue where we have to know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Otherwise, we fall in a wrong trap.
In the discharge of your duties as a law enforcement agent, there are also things that we expect from you, and that's why you are here today with us, so that we work as partners to guarantee the rights of the people that are living with the virus, because one of the greatest challenges in the HIV fight is actually stigma and discrimination, which this law has come to regulate.
For the effective enforcement of the Act, the Action Aid International, the Gambia, officials urge participants to partake in the deliberations so as to come up with the desired results. Aissatou Diatta, GRTS.
We will be back with news from outside the Gambia after this break. Welcome back. There are, of course, concerns about North Korea after warning this week from Kim Jong-un's regime that he is ready to use nuclear weapons against the United States at any time. Now the North is trying to reach feverish activity at rocket side. CNN's Barbara Starr has more on that.
The Pentagon has long thought the North Korean military is all about deception, and it looks like they're up to it one more time. North Korea has already shown the world it can launch a satellite into space. Now, U.S. intelligence believes sometime in the next few weeks, the regime will do it again, but this time in secret from this launch pad, hoping to avoid the prying eyes of U.S. spy satellites overhead. North Korea insists its only plan, launching the satellite on top of a long-range rocket. But
there isn't a country in the world that has a space launch facility that looks like this. No country in the world hides their assembly of their space launch vehicle. You can observe it for days, for weeks. North Korea is clearly trying to develop a military capability here.
This launch facility constructed with concealment as the priority. An underground rail line delivers the missile parts inside this movable building. The parts are unloaded out of view of spy satellites. Then the whole structure is moved to the launch pad. At the other end, the missile is assembled with a large crane that experts say might look like this. A cover on the launch tower conceals the assembly and fueling of the missile. The result, the U.S. only sees a missile shortly before launch with little or no warning. If it all works, it gets Kim Jong-un closer to his apparent ultimate goal.
It's very clear the North Koreans want to develop what they do not have now, the ability to launch a nuclear missile and hit the United States.
You have a leader in North Korea who has nuclear weapons and is seeking the means to miniaturize them and deliver them intercontinentally, and that causes me great concern.
It all comes as Pyongyang says it has restarted a nuclear reactor to make fissile material. The North Korean news agency says the regime's nuclear arsenal is being improved in quality and quantity. The U.S. believes the most likely date for a launch will be October 10th, the 70th anniversary of the founding of the Workers' Party in North Korea. Anniversaries and dates very important to the regime. Barbara Starr, CNN, the Pentagon.
Hungary says Croatia is illegally helping migrants to cross its borders after it seized a Croatian train packed with 1,000 migrants. Authorities say they disarmed Croatian authorities on board. Croatia denies that and said it's struggling with the influx of migrants, mere that 14,000 of influx since Wednesday. The UN says the country can handle only 500 a day.
The Syrians told me that given that all they've been through, given the utter destruction of their country, either by Bashar al-Assad or ISIS, that they expected a somewhat warmer welcome when they got here. And of course, they are exhausted after making this trek. Of course, it's difficult. It was difficult enough before Hungary closed its borders, but many of them went all the way to the Hungarian border with Serbia and then went down through Croatia. And of course, at this border last night, we saw as hundreds were transferred from Croatian to Hungarian buses. Now, in addition to the exhaustion, there's the exhaustion of their resources as well. Many tell me that they sold everything they had. They collected money from relatives to finance this trip, but it's taking so long that most of them have simply run out of money. Now, what does that mean in practical terms? It means that when you show up in areas like this, you have not a penny to buy a bottle of water or a sandwich or something like that. Oftentimes there are aid groups handing those things out, but oftentimes there aren't, as we saw on the Serbian-Croatian border, where thousands of people were just stuck in this little town where there was a small group of aid workers doing what they could, but their supplies simply weren't sufficient. Now, just to give you an idea where we are, this is where yesterday afternoon into the evening and the night, hundreds, indeed thousands of of migrants and refugees were bused by the Croatian authorities here and then transferred into buses into Hungary. Now, according to officials here, as many as 6,000 have already crossed. That includes, of course, the 1,000 migrants and refugees on that Croatian train that sparked that diplomatic incident between Croatia and Hungary, and also sparked some fairly harsh words from Hungarian officials describing the handling by the Croatian Prime Minister of this crisis as, in their words, pathetic. Now, we're expecting another group of refugees to start crossing in about an hour. They'll be transferred into buses. Now, they're supposed to go to 3 centers in Hungary near the Austrian border. Now, our producer asked officials here, okay, they get to Hungary, they're going to be registered, and then once they're registered, what happens? And the spokesman at the border here told our producer, Tomasz, that after that, they're free to go. And of course, if they go to Austria, they're free to enter and move around the European community as they please. So a rather strange twist to this already very bizarre story.
We take a second break now. The weather report is next. Welcome back. We now join the Weather Forecast Office for the day's weather outlook.
Everything as you know it starts here. That simple promise of a harvest after planting is nature's service to the community that you and I are a part of. We carry on bonding and sharing because the feeling to serve is mutual. But that promise between us, the sun and the land, is what gives us the hope to carry on. And as it was in the beginning, we started with a belief to serve. Elton, a new vision of service.
And before we take leave of you, a recap of the day's main stories. Canilite's vast farmlands have welcomed more volunteers as mid-season weeding and cultivation continue apace. The new tourist season has swung into gear as the first flight of Dutch tourists numbering 154 arrives in Banjul. North Korea has made its latest outlandish threat to attack the United States with nuclear weapons, a message that has Washington on alert. And the war of words between Croatia and Hungary over the migrant crisis has intensified after authorities in Zagreb released trains carrying migrants to cross the border into Hungary. Well, that was all in this edition of the News at 10. From me, WINIFRED, NICOL, and the entire news team, thanks for being there. Enjoy the rest of our programs.